number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
Welcome to Spotlight on the Arts. I'm Patrick Cristiano, your host, the publisher of TheaterLife.com, a website for theater buffs in New York City covering Broadway and off-Broadway theater. And we also cover East Hampton events as well. And I'm coming to you from the LTV studio in Wainscott. We have a really special guest today, the new executive director, Michael Clark. Wow, Michael, thank you so much for coming. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
We're so excited to have you. Wow,
Thank you.
We're happy to have you. Everyone is.
I'm honored to be here, actually.
No, I don't mean on the show, the LTV, everyone. I mean, everyone here is thrilled to have you on the team.
Well, thank you.
So,
yeah,
I mean, as the head of the team, excuse me, not
yeah,
on
no,
the team.
That's great. I mean, it's an exciting time for us, absolutely. You know, with going into the new year and, you know, putting a plan together for making LTV a little bit different than it's been. Not that there's been any problem with it, but just trying to generate some energy and some enthusiasm and really some education about LTV in general. There's a lot of people out there that simply still don't know that we exist. And
I'm
is that true?
out there, you know, I'm out there, and I make the rounds, and I'm shocked when people they go, "Oh, is that still there?" That's one of the first things I say. Is it still there? Is what they sometimes say.
Absolutely.
And I go, "Are you kidding?" It's and
right. And you know, so that's really the front of our mind is getting people to understand that, you know, this is their station. You know, they pay a little bit each month, whether they know it or not, in their cable bill. There's something that says miscellaneous fees or something like that. That money goes directly to cable. Cable then gives that money to the town. The town gives a little bit to us. And that's how this happened. So essentially, they're paying us to be here. And they need to know what is available to them to use in terms of public access. So we're really trying to, you know,
so I think getting people over here is going to really be a big thing, because the people, a lot of people still have never been here, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So, you know, you bring so much background to the new position here that it's really exciting, because you have so much managerial skills with Verizon, and then you opened your own guitar store here, Crossroads Music.
That's right.
And what year was it? 2006 was it?
2006, yeah. We were around for almost 10 years, and it was a great experience. I mean, that was really where I got involved with the community, because prior to that, I was working in Manhattan, you know, pre 9/11 days, and you know, so I was in and out a lot. I wasn't as involved, except for Little League and things like that with my boys. But once I got Crossroads, I was able to see and understand better the needs of the community. And we did a lot of things to involve the younger kids and getting involved with music.
What I want to talk to them about, but I don't want to digress. I jumped ahead, but what I want to let the audience know is he's got these interesting projects that are going to come up. And besides being Crossroads Music, you did these television shows called the East End Underground.
Yes.
And you did like 40 of them?
We did 40, yeah.
Which we're going to have a clip for you in a minute or two. But your idea now is to do these live at LTV, so people can come and experience live theater, see our facility, learn about it, and participate in what's going on.
You're absolutely right. We have one coming up with the Kenny Harris Project and a band
now,
called...
what's the date?
1/24, January 24th at 7 o'clock. And it's Kenny
That's a Friday evening?
That's a Friday night, yep. And Kenny Harris, it's a night of funk. These are two funk bands. One's called Funkin' A, and the other's called the Kenny Harris Project. And Kenny's just like an amazing bass player. He's toured the world with some national acts, and he's just incredible. And Funkin' A is a horn-driven funk band from around the Patchogue area. They're coming, but it's going to be the first time that we've done East End Underground with a live audience. We did, like you said, we did about 40 shows, but that audience...
You want to show them one of the clips now?
Sure.
Or you want to talk more about...
No, that's fine. Let's do it.
So we'll get how to hear what you're talking about a little bit. Cool, let's have a clip.
One of LTV's most popular shows is East End Underground, featuring some of the best musicians on Long Island playing their original music.
So those are incredible. Wow.
Yeah.
Where did you shoot that here?
Yeah, that's
in the big
in
the
Studio
big space
3,
there.
yeah. And that's where we'll be doing the live performance as well with the audience. And the good part is we're also being sponsored by WEHM, so they're going to be
Oh, how cool!
involved with us. Yep. And one of the DJs is coming
Are
down.
they going to sponsor LTV or just that?
They're
event?
sponsoring that show, that
show.
particular
Oh,
show.
So you have to
underwriting
get
it,
different
yes.
sponsors for every show now.
No, I'm sorry. No, they're going to be sponsoring East End Underground in general. not
That's what I
all of
meant, that's
LTV.
what I
Yeah,
meant.
okay,
Okay.
yeah. And so that's a great thing to be able
That-
to do
no,
that
that's
and
terrific.
to
That's-
get other sponsors as well.
So you have a series. You have how many you're going to do?
This is the kind of the pilot with the audience. So we want to do this one first, and then debrief, see what works, what doesn't work, and we're trying to get refreshments and some food and get volunteers involved.
And what will it cost?
It's a $10 suggested
Oh, wow,
donation.
that's
Yeah, and
Bargain.
yeah, I think so. It's going to be two really, really good bands. But then people can then come in and watch the filming. So then we take those two separately. Those will then be broadcast separately once we edit it and edit the sound and those things, and those will be content on LTV.
Oh, how cool!
Yeah.
How cool that is. And you're going to stream it too when it's happening.
Now we're not going to stream it live this time, but
But
that's
because I heard somewhere in the background, I hear things.
yeah, no, that's the goal.
Uh-huh.
But we want to make sure we have this portion down right, and then we'll move into the streaming, and then maybe simulcasting on WEHM or something like that. But that's the long-term goal. But we got to take baby steps in order to get there to make sure that we're doing it correctly. So
Well, yeah, because you go slow so you can go faster.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
The foundation is the most important part of where you're going. It's,
Right.
It's good. And you've done this before. It's like going to be a piece of cake for you.
yeah, we're hoping it's going to be smooth, but you always expect the unexpected, right? And so I'm sure something will come up. But somehow it all works itself out, as you know. Being in the theater business, you go with the flow. It's live, right? You do what you got to do, right? Things happen.
I like that about theater because there's always chance that something's going to get smudged.
Yes.
And how are you going? And it's.
Right. What's Plan B?
But but what I love about theater, because you're in a character, and when you're playing a character and it gets smudged, you have to stay in character, and it really is a test of how well you have done your homework
Okay.
to be able to stay in character, even if something
Wow,
happens.
yeah.
It's
Well, the world is falling
Yeah.
down around you.
Yeah.
Yes.
but we digress. I'm sorry.
On East End Underground.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we, like I said, we had done 40 shows without the audience, and we're just hoping the bands will just be energized from the room, the people in the room, and the enthusiasm that they bring. So that's a great thing. And then the following night, we're doing something that you will be involved in, right?
Oh yeah, that's I don't know what are they calling storytelling? Do they have a name for it?
What's your story?
What's your story?
Right. So that's the next night, and my counterpart, Angela LaGreca, is.
Angela's fabulous.
Yeah,
We
she's
love Angela.
just a bundle of energy herself, and she's going to champion.
Could you have trouble keeping up with her?
Oh yeah, my legs can't keep up. Forget it.
No, I mean with her mind.
Oh yeah, well that's what I mean. You still
She's really fast.
Yes, she's great and perfect selection to be the creative director here. So so we kind of feed off of each other in different ways, and that's really been wonderful. And
So did both of you come up with the idea for the storytelling night? How did that evolve?
Actually, I think Angela came up with that one, and because she had actually participated in a similar thing, it wasn't an LTV type of idea. She had done a similar thing over at Rosie's in Amagansett, a restaurant. They were doing something.
Okay.
You have dinner and then you tell your story. kind of similar concept. So that's kind of where it came from, I believe. And but that's going to be a fun night too. People come up and they tell their stories, and might be somebody singing a song. It could be somebody, and so there's a few people that are already planning on being there. And
Like I'm going to probably do a condensement of my lessons from Dogs, which is a show that I did at Guildhall, which is an
Exactly.
hour piece. But I'll pick out little snippets of it and put it together with
yeah, and that's what it's about. You know, people trying different things, doing different things, sharing different things, and then there'll be a few open slots for people who just show up that night and say, "Yeah, you know, I can do this. Let me go tell my story." And I think it's going to be a fun night. So, you know, Angela and I have been working on, basically a plan for the whole year, and
for events that you're going to have.
different events, yeah, different things. East End Underground is one. The What's Your Story? And again, we're trying to show some flexibility in doing this.
Are they going to go back to having some of the other salons that they had?
Yep.
Will they be like there'll be different, like
Yeah.
will be just storytelling? There'll be other.
Yeah, there'll be regular salons that Angela's done in the past, and in February we're doing a huge Black History celebration here, because that has not been done before, especially to this degree. Where and that's still a work in progress, but we're going to be that's going to be like a musical event, plus some theater, plus some panel discussions, and just bringing and educating the local community on Black history. I mean, you know, we know that, and that needs to be done, and so that's one. And then the month after that, we're doing a Latino experience where there's going to be a salsa night here, where there's going to be a DJ teaching salsa, and in addition to that, a band called Conga Cartel, who play locally and are real great.
And these are all people that you've known in the past and worked with in the past.
From my
you bring so much energy and excitement to the job. It's really, we're very lucky to have you.
Well, thank you.
And your passion for doing it too is really cool.
Well, thanks so much. And we just want to do things a little bit differently. Again, not that there was any problem with anything, but we just want to get ourselves on the map and let people know we're here for you. We can work together. You have an idea, you have a show, you have a program you've always wanted to do, come do it. You know, it's very, very simple to do. We give them the producers class, and which is free, and then they come and they do a show similar to what you're doing.
I took the producers class, 100 years ago.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah,
maybe we were in the same one.
Maybe.
It was when LTV first was founded. What year was that? Do you know? No, don't tell anybody.
Yeah, it was founded 35 years ago, believe it or not. But yeah, and so really anybody can do a show, and that's the beauty of this, and we just want to get that message out there.
So what I find really interesting about people and places and how things happen is process. And when we were talking earlier about opening Crossroads Music, your music store, and I asked you what motivated you to do that, and you talked about the community need for it.
Yeah, I have 3 boys, and they're all into music, and we're already taking music lessons at Harbor Music over in Sag Harbor, which shut down not long after we opened, but not related. But so when I just did a little marketing research to see why there was no music store in East Hampton. It's a very artsy community.
What did you come up with?
Well, there had been one 25 years ago.
Do you know what it's called?
I don't remember. It was over by the train. The train station. Yeah, and but I think the seasonality of it out here, which is something that we always struggled with for the 10 years that we were open.
So that was a challenge for you too.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we had depending on time of year, from 200 to 100 students that were taking lessons, and we sold guitars, and we did shows right in the store.
What made you start to do shows in the store?
Just to keep ourselves on the map. It's a great form of advertising, but it was also a great thing for the community. We started out with these coffee houses where we're getting young people involved. We really wanted to bring them in.
Did you believe or perceive that the community would respond to you putting on music shows? Did you think there was a need for that too, that they would come?
Wasn't sure.
But you were willing to risk it.
Yeah, yeah. We tried it. We tried it. The church up in Springs, and they had a great stage. It's a great venue there at the Springs Presbyterian Church, and they rented us the space for a very nominal fee, and because we were doing it for kids. And then once the kids thing was successful, then the grown-ups started coming and saying, "Hey, what about me? I got songs." And so we did a grown-up night as well, grown-up night, and. So and that was a very successful thing, and people still to this day thank us for doing that because it just gave them a place to play.
So did it also give you an entree to local talent? Do you know a lot of the people out here?
Oh,
too?
absolutely, yeah.
Because you told me you know Nancy Atlas, who's going to be our next guest. Does you worked with her?
Oh yeah, in fact, Nancy did the very last. We did these shows in the store called the Tiny Room shows. It was 25 seats, and it was $20 a seat, and half the money went to the musician, half the money went to a scholarship fund that we started for local kids. And Nancy was actually the very last show that we ever did before we closed the door.
Oh, wow.
In the very last month, yeah. And Simon Kirk, who also just played with Nancy recently, he did a show there as well with us.
He blew me away.
Yeah.
He was fabulous.
He's a great guy.
What an amazing talent.
Yeah, I don't know if I wasn't able to make that show. I've seen him with Nancy before, and he's got some great stories too. If you ever have the opportunity.
The stories were the stellar part. Because we're doing storytelling, I literally studied what he was doing.
Oh, okay.
It was that specific and that clear to me.
Yeah, I mean,
it was fabulous.
Yeah, and he knew people like Keith Moon from The Who and John Bonham from Led Zeppelin and Ringo Starr, and so it's just like, he's just like
all of that is in his DNA a little bit, and you could feel it when he walked onto the stage.
Yeah, he's a rock star. There's no doubt.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, so to your point about meeting the locals, in terms of the music scene, yeah, and Nancy is just such a big part of it.
So you have a lot of stuff that you can bring over to LTV too. What happened? What made the transition from doing the live shows to doing the aired shows that you did? When did that happen? Did it happen early or?
You mean
where you
from the coffee houses?
No, from the Crossroads to doing the shows here. That you did videos.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, that actually, the shows doing here took place after I closed Crossroads.
Oh, so there was no overlapping period.
No, not for that.
One ended and the other began.
Yeah, I did that just to keep my hands in it.
I see.
Actually, Morgan Vaughn at the time, who was the executive director, and Ellen Watson, who's still here. You know Ellen.
I know them both. Yes, they're lovely.
Yeah.
We'll adore them both.
And they came to me and said, "What about doing something here?" So I took the producer's course and did it, and we came. Actually, we were supposed to start in this room, believe it or not, and ended up in Studio 3 because it was a much larger space, and I had a different vision of how I wanted it to be, and but it was great. I mean, it's interesting to watch from the first show to the 40th show, and just to see how we progressed and got better in terms of doing this. So they've never done live music here before in terms of shows like that with a full band. People have played and that type of thing, but not to that degree. So it was a learning experience for everybody. So now we're going to build on those 40 shows and now try to take it to the next level with the East End Underground shows that we're going to be doing.
Is it going to be called the East End Underground show?
Yep.
That's wonderful.
Yep, keep the same name. It's got a good reputation.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's been established already.
Yeah, we got a lot of views, so it's good.
So, that you've got a new mantra.
Oh, the
LTV is you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I thought you meant me personally.
You have a personal mantra? Oh, share it.
No.
We can go back to that one.
Kidding.
Come on, because we have extra time.
I don't think I can say those on the air, actually.
Oh, really?
The LTV is UTV is, that's something that we're focusing on, and really the fact that we're a new LTV as well, and that's what we're trying to promote in 2020 moving forward. That we're still LTV, and we're in the same way we're taking East End Underground to the next level. We want to take LTV to the next level as well.
And we have people don't even know all the facilities that we have that are available for rent.
Yes.
Can you tell?
Sure. We have an upstairs here, and we have several offices that are available with Wi-Fi. that people can rent. We have somebody up there, a filmmaker, who is renting that. It's got to be something that's kind of associated with our business, because there's a lot of restrictions on us because of the fact that we're a not-for-profit, and everything's got to be completely transparent, which it should be. They need to know exactly where every single dollar is spent, which is fine. But there's a lot of requirements on what you can and what you can't do. And so we need to rent for people that are somewhat associated with the business, somehow.
Okay.
But yeah, we have that, and the studios are for rent too. I mean, these and Studio 3. We have a rental coming up in February for the Ellen Hermanson Foundation for breast cancer, and they're renting it for a day. And we have a big rental in towards the end of spring. And so that's available. People are actually looking at it for weddings and different things because it's just an amazing space. It's a great, great place, and we have caterers coming in now taking a look at that, and that's really going to be a big thing for LTV, because the more money that we make, and we're looking for sponsors, folks.
That's exactly where I was going next. You must be reading my mind. How do you,
Sponsors and underwriters. Come talk to me.
do you have any ideas of people to look into or think about?
Well,
I mean,
we're working.
I mean, I don't need to out you or anyway. You don't have to talk about that.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I mean, we're actually working on a very formatted process.
Because the big hurdle, it seems to me all the time, is sponsors want to know, what can you do for me?
Exactly, and I don't blame them. They're spending a lot of money. But one of the downsides that we have, there's two really. One of the factors that getting the money from the town is a blessing and a curse, and I'll tell you why. Because we get the money, and then people say, well, they're getting money from the town, they don't need any more money.
I understand.
It really doesn't cover what it is that we
It's
want to do.
nowhere near.
Yeah, and
to take it to, especially if you want to go to another level.
Exactly, and so that's the blessing and the curse, and so we just need more. We can always. I'm working on a formal process where we'll be able to sit down and hand people a piece of paper and say this is what you get.
Yeah, that's what.
And the tough part for us is the fact that we are not for profit, and we don't generate revenue for Cablevision, so it's really, really difficult to get the numbers from them because they're doing what they need to do based on the FCC, right? The FCC gives a requirement to the cable companies to say, you need to do this. So we cost them money. And so it's really hard to get the analytics.
So we're a thorn in their side.
Right. It's really hard to get the analytics to go to a sponsor and say, okay, we have this many viewers and that many things. So we have to find a different way. So it's kind of a catch-22. We want to put on new and different programming, but we need the money in order to make that happen. So we want to tap into people with a vision who want to be part of what it is that our vision is moving forward for 2020.
Well, you have a really good plan, and it seems like you have the experience and know-how to put it together. And
We're
make
trying.
It happen, so.
We're trying.
Oh, you don't try. You either do it or you don't.
Well, we have continue with
one action after another. Just keep doing it. Keep taking action. People misunderstand that as trying, but you're not trying. You're doing it when you're taking actions.
Well, that's right. Yeah. And like I said, just this morning I had a great meeting with some people on the Black History celebration that we want to do at the end of February, and that's going to be a big thing for us. There's so many.
What are the dates that going to be?
That's the 28th and 29th, the Friday and Saturday of February.
February 28th and 29th. That's
stay tuned for that one. We'll give you more information on it.
Let's give them the dates again. We have on January 24th, is it?
24th is East End Underground.
East End Underground. What time?
That's 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
And
$10 suggested donation. Which
correct.
Is
and then 25th is the What's Your Story? That's at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
25th is What's Your Story? People will be telling their stories kind of like the moth.
Right. And then it'll be the 28th of February and the 29th of February. That's where we're Black History celebration formally. There's going to be other things that we're still working on that could be happening throughout the month as well.
And you can stream all the shows on LTV. You can just go to ltveh.org and anything you want to see that's
Right.
that's available for on demand is available.
Right. If you
anytime.
don't get the channel and you got Aunt Millie in California that wants to watch the show because you're on it, you can stream it live at the same time that the show is on, or video on demand, which is the way that most people are going right now, kind of like a YouTube type of thing, and that's all available on the website.
The website's very specific about everything you could learn about LTV2, ltveh.org. We have a couple of minutes. Is there anything we didn't hit on that we want to talk about before we go?
Well, no, we'll have a benefit fundraiser in July.
In the summer.
In the summer, yep. We did one of those for the first time last year. Angela put that together. And so she's working feverishly on that now. And so that's going to be happening. We've got the salon in April. And then something else we're very involved in is the Village Centennial, which is going to be happening in September for the Village of East Hampton, 100 years, where they've actually been a village. And so we're very involved in that. That's going to be taking up a lot of our time at the end of the summer.
Will you go cover it with a remote crew and everything?
Exactly. Yeah, that'll be a lot.
How many people will you send out?
You know what? It's easily. I mean, they're having a huge parade on one day, so that's easily. That's everybody's on board that day. A lot of feet on the street, as they say. And then we're going to be involved with different films. It's a huge thing that the village is putting together. Really good. Best Rattray is doing that, so that's a great thing.
What's the time frame? Did you say the date?
It's the end of September. I don't have the exact date.
So it's in September, the end of September.
Yeah, there'll be plenty of that. But they're actually celebrating the centennial for the whole year, starting 2020. They just raised the new centennial flag at Village Hall, which we covered, and that was the start of it. And really, the whole year is.
Wow, you're just a wealth of information.
Unbelievable!
Thank you so much for sharing all this with everybody. That's really cool.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Makes us be of even more service with all this information you have for us.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you. We're so happy to have you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.